If you could all make sure you're on mute, and that would be great. If you have any questions throughout the talk, please, we encourage you to write them into the little message box, and we'll collate them at the end and present them to Tom. We're also unfortunately unable to have the talk in the gallery with you, but are delighted to see that the gallery is now open to the public, and we encourage you all to come and visit us. The exhibition will be open until Saturday the 22nd of May, and we are open daily Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. As I said, throw questions in as we go along. We'll introduce Tom now, who will talk a little bit about his work and the further shows that we have here in the gallery, and we'll maybe talk a little bit about his process, and then we'll open it up to the floor for any questions that you may have. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tom Climent.
Thanks, Eva. Thanks, James and Eva for those here. I just wanted to say initially thanks to the Lavish for the opportunity to have this exhibition and to present the work that I've been working on for a year, maybe more. It's great to get the chance to show them. We weren't 100% sure when it might go ahead. We were thinking maybe September, maybe next year, and it's just doing worked out with the reopening that we were able to continue the online preview into the full exhibition, which is what we're doing now. So thanks to you all for tuning in. Now it's great to feel that people are interested in the work. You know, I suppose working as an artist, you work on your own most of the time, and it's great to kind of get that kind of feedback from people that your work is hopefully connecting with them, and that they appreciate it or they get things from it as well. So, and any questions, as Eva said, you should type them in and I'll try and answer. I suppose every exhibition that I do, I try and I go and see the space. I've known this space for a while, obviously. It's been in Cork for a long time, I'm sure before. So but I would kind of look at the work that I think is finished, and I would select work then that fit the space that I'm going to show. And if I can, I'll try and show large pieces and medium pieces, and small pieces as well. So this was the first piece that I picked for the exhibition. And normally that's what kind of happens, is that after seeing the space or being invited to show somewhere, I have a look at the work, and there'll be one piece, I suppose, that'll become the cornerstone, I suppose, in a way, or become the focal point for the rest of the work. And I'll select work then that matches it or complements it or adds to it, or you try to create this experience, I suppose. So I suppose this actual painting, and some of the work I might have started years ago, and it's gone through different stages where I thought it was finished. I put it away, I looked at it again, I thought, no, it needs more work, and put it away and figured it out. And that's quite a lot of the way that I work. I could be working on 30 or 40 paintings at the same time, and I kind of work on them in kind of stages, and I put them away then, and I might look at them for months then. So, and I find that experience of not looking at them is really beneficial to getting that kind of distance from them and not being so kind of emotionally attached to them while I'm actually working on them. It gives you that kind of distance of time, I suppose, that you can then, when you see them again, you can kind of see things more clearly in them that are working or not working. Or I suppose one of the ways that I work is kind of like anything, maybe as a writer would. Like you have the first draft, the second draft, the third draft, 10th draft, and so it's quite a lot of reworking is part of my process of painting. So and I kind of leave the older versions of the painting to be visible as well. They become part of the finished piece then as well. So it's like this thing that keeps changing and keeps evolving until it reaches its kind of endpoint that I feel kind of happy. A lot of the work I've been doing recently is quite landscape, and I kind of selected work for this show that I suppose not all of them, but are there's a very strong landscape theme or structure to the work. And I suppose I'm kind of using landscape in a way as a means of inviting people into these places, or to inviting them to travel somewhere else, I suppose. So generally, they're quite, you have a kind of sky area and a kind of land area. And that's how I've kind of almost like structured them, or that's the composition of all of them. They kind of start quite haphazardly at the start. And the way I kind of work is I try and allow chance and accident, which is kind of a lot of the areas here, like a lot of time I paint flat on the floor, so a lot of the paint is dilute quite a lot with turpentine. and I would raise one side and raise the other side. So I kind of allowed the paint to kind of throw off the canvas at different stages of the painting process of making the painting. And then combined with that, I suppose, there's a kind of logic and reason and kind of structure and composition. So there's kind of two forces at play in the making of the work that I try and paint. And it's kind of allowing both of them. We kind of hope that when they kind of combine together, that they create something that you wouldn't have maybe anticipated or thought of. And a lot of the time, for me, painting is about discovering something new or going somewhere different. And I kind of allow myself to be open to those kind of, to be kind of guided, I suppose, in a way, or to be led in a certain direction without necessarily knowing where the end point is or where I'm going. And in some ways, I know it's a kind of cliche, it's like this journey that you're on, but it's very true. My approach to painting and being in the studio and making art is this kind of journey, and I feel that the paintings are almost like a byproduct of that journey. They're the kind of stages or the kind of steps that take you, to get somewhere, which I don't know where it is, where's the end point, and I kind of hope that I never get there, because it's the carrot and the stick. It's the thing that kind of keeps you going and that makes you search and makes you try harder, that makes you try and find something new. I suppose I was going to talk a bit more about some of the pieces up here. I've been doing these kind of paintings which are kind of more softer or kind of quieter. I started doing them a few years ago, initially as a kind of for that reason, as a kind of counterbalance or contrast to the more abstract and geometric paintings. So it's almost like they're quite similar in the kind of structure of them. If you can kind of see, in this one here, it has this kind of hill or kind of shape, which is kind of similar to the large painting as well. But it's like they're taking out all the geometric abstract sections from it, and it's kind of what's left there, I quite enjoy working on them because they're kind of like I might only spend maybe half an hour each time working on them, but they're quite layered, so it's just putting down layers and putting down texture and taking off texture and sanding it back and putting down more. So there's a kind of a process to how they're made that is quite. That I think chance and accident plays a big role in how these paintings are made. Sometimes they work out quite quickly, and other times they can take months and months to come to a stage where I'm happy with them. So I suppose like that for that reason I started doing them. I've kind of talked a bit about this kind of quiet space within an exhibition. Like I think sometimes people are working so kind of bright coloured and very strong colours in them that if you see a lot in the room, you can just be overpowered. You can't see anyone of them individually. So that's when I started doing these paintings that were kind of like softer and quieter. Like maybe in an album, you might have a quiet song or a slow song or an instrumental song that adds to the overall feel of the album, but is a kind of a balance to the more structured songs, I'd say. I think I've been doing this type of work for maybe 8 years or maybe more, I think. This kind of quite kind of geometric, I suppose, and quite kind of structured. And one of the starting points, I suppose, for that was that science experiment where you have a prism and light goes to the prism and it refracts into the colours of the colour spectrum. So I think that's when I started using these kind of very strong geometric shapes. So I was using them in the same way as the prism operates in that experiment, as a way of I suppose capturing light and reflecting that then back out, and to using the colour. And I suppose it's that kind of it makes that link between colour and light. It makes it very, very obvious, and that light is colour is light. So that in a way, that's what a lot of painters are trying to do, is to paint light. But I kind of used it in a way. These are kind of newer paintings that I've been doing, and I've been using these kind of structures or these kind of contained spaces that I feel that I hope are that they that it's almost like I'm trying to capture a piece of light, you know, if you could imagine like, you know, like a droplet of water, you can imagine a droplet of light, you know, and I'm trying to contain it within this kind of enclosed space. So it's and a lot of work, not a lot of work, some work I'm doing recently. I've been using the order of the colour spectrum, you know, so that for me then it becomes symbolic of light then. And it becomes almost like this, like I was trying to say, it's kind of captured within this kind of object, to say. And gold as well has become something that I've used quite a lot in my work. And I suppose gold for me is quite symbolic, you know, it's symbolic of the sun, you know, which is obviously the source of light and the source of energy. So I can use it in that same way within my work. I kind of see it almost as this power source within the paintings. You know, and so in this particular piece, you know, you can see the gold in the front end, so it's almost like the light and the colour comes from that, which is generated from that. Go on to the next slide. I suppose these are kind of more structurally landscape than maybe other work that I've done in the past. And I can find sometimes when I look at like I wouldn't necessarily when I'm painting, you know, try and reproduce a place or try and use somewhere that I've been as a starting point. But it's almost like places that I've been to, the kind of imprint of being there comes into the work kind of instinctively, and I try not to force it into the work. And I suppose all the time that I've worked as an artist or trying to paint, it's about trying to kind of allow experiences of places that I've been there, how I feel about things, to try and allow them to be present in the work or to come to the work if it's appropriate or not. But this place, like, it reminded me of when we were in the Barrow Peninsula last summer. It's not necessarily based on, you know, any. I will take the photographs when I'm going places that I will use, and it has been in the studio, but I would just kind of allow them to be there if I need something to kind of as a reference point, but not to overly try and make a representation of a particular place. But it's that sense of the work having a kind of an imprint or a kind of or a residence of places that I've been to. And I think this is kind of one that carries that, you know, and it reminds me of being there. I'm not sure if that comes across in it, but it's this connection that I have with my work, you know. And I think all the work that I've done, it's I kind of want it to be open-ended, you know. Like I have my attachment to this painting is this personal relation that I have. Somebody else might necessarily not see that, or you know, for them it could be something else, and I think that's like each is valid. No one is right or wrong. So like, I think with most artists, it's probably important, you know, not to. It's kind of like I'm trying to point somebody in a certain direction without necessarily saying it can only be about this one thing, you know. So it's I suppose when we're doing an exhibition as well, it's the collective of the group of paintings within a space that creates something that's unique in itself, you know, that each piece adds to that body of work that exists within this space now. So this is just one that I thought I might kind of say a bit about, you know, in that sense, of where it came from or its relationship to me and to my kind of my journey or my life as well. You know? This again is a painting that I probably started 2 years ago, and it's one like the first one by the window, you know, that has gone to different stages that I found was finished ready and looked at it again and thought and added to it and took things away. But I would kind of feel it's a new kind of direction in what that I'm hoping to make in the future with me. I wanted to introduce kind of softer, more nature-based shapes to the paintings and to maybe try and not so much almost like as a reaction to the kind of geometric structures that I had been using. So obviously It's called a tree of gifts. It looks, I hope, like a tree. What I was saying earlier about the image of, or the idea of the prism and light and colour, what becomes kind of strong in the work, and this piece I remember he said, is that idea of when a tree is cut down, it starts to regrow. So it's this, for me, it's kind of symbolic, it's kind of regrowth and this kind of life force that keeps moving and that keeps coming. That, you know, it's this kind of, and I kind of hope, like you can see in the other ones, like a lot of the pieces I'm working on in series will have this kind of almost like pump structure, and then there's this kind of movement or growth coming out of it. Like, and I've been using kind of shapes that, you know, that look like natural shapes, organic shapes, leaves and flowers, and I've been trying to introduce them, you know, and again, it's like this kind of trusting that these are the types of paintings that I want to try and paint at the moment, you know, that I feel drawn to painting or trying. The type of imagery that I would like to work with. And I don't kind of think about why that is. You know, it's usually after I've done a series of work that I can look back at and then say, that's why, you know, and that's the reason. But it's about, I think, you're working creatively and working as an artist, or as a writer, or a musician, or, you know, you want to kind of give yourself over to this, to something almost like that's bigger than you, that you enter into, and that you become led or guided as well. And to almost like remove your analytical processes from that and to try and trust your kind of emotions and your instinct and your feelings. And to, I suppose over the years when I've done that, I've always felt that I'm on the right path, you know, even if it's something that's very different to what I've done before. If it feels right at that moment, you know, I just keep doing it, and eventually then it's like a door starts to open and you go into this other space, and then you enter into this other journey then. I was talking about earlier, you know, this idea of being on a path, and, you know, as you're going along, you know, there's twists and turns, and you just follow them, you know, and sometimes you get lost, and eventually you'll find some way out of it, and you reach somewhere there. So maybe just go around to the other ones. Again, this is a very similar structure to what we're painting over, with this kind of, you know, this kind of trunk, and then this idea of something kind of emerging or kind of growing, or this sense of, I suppose, to do with kind of hope and to do with regrowth and just this kind of life force that is kind of emerging, or that will continue to move through us, I suppose. And it's quite. You can see it, I think all of the work that I've done is quite textured. And I suppose I kind of wanted to use the textures to give a kind of sense of something being made from the earth, you know, using the earth itself to create something, you know, that's come from the ground. And it's, you know, so that's kind of has become part of my kind of process of painting. And it kind of adds to the working and the reworking and the kind of changes that I can make in the work. Is that okay for if anyone has any questions or has any questions or
Perfect, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that, and because I'm here, I'll go first because I guess I'm certainly so again, if anyone has any questions, please write them in. I think one of the things that you kind of have commented on that have been listening to, well, if you're lucky enough to be in Cork City or to travel here before the 22nd, please come in to see these, because I think there's a lot of the work that won't translate online, and you know, a lot of the textures that we talk about, but I think that the light, a lot of these things, they radiate. There is a brightness out of them and a light coming out of them in a way that is only experienced in person. And I'd seen a lot of the images before we started hanging, and as we put them up on the wall, I was just, whoa, blown away in a beautiful way. It really does come across. And I think one of the other things that I liked that you said about maybe the place, you know, that it's not a specific place, but it's bringing someone to a place. And there's a piece over on the wall over here that as we hung, straight away, I was transported to a specific journey in Connemara between Man, Cross and Annan, and I felt I was doing it. You know, it had the landscape, the warmth, it did everything that I was doing it. And I know we had someone in this morning who was looking at a piece and they were like, oh, that's Gavin Skelly's. I even know which hill that he painted, you know, and it was because they had spent time there.
I'm not spent time about Skelly as well, you know, and it's kind of like that idea of kind of belonging to places that I've been to, you know, not necessarily force them into the work, but that they automatically, almost in a way, you know, will appear in the work, will come in, will be drawn to. It's almost like this memory bank that you have, you know, of images like that are driving, you know, Kerry or Connemara or Cork, you know, are being in these places and walking on them. You know, I don't really sketch. I don't prepare the works in any way. You know, I don't work with sketches, and I don't plan them out. I kind of, you know, that maybe takes them longer to become realised in that that's why they keep changing, I suppose, in a way. But I kind of like that about, it's like that kind of process of discovery, you know, when I'm actually painting, you know, that I don't know where I'm going to go to. It's like, I haven't planned it, you know, I don't have a sketch in mind of what I want to try and do.
Yeah, it seems nice because it seems like it's kind of what you were saying, where, you know, you don't want them to be prescriptive to the viewer, that they are allowed to enter in their own terms. And also then that it means not prescriptive to you, that it has to look a certain way, that they kind of, almost like the same as organic elements to them, they kind of flourish and grow on their own, in one sense, they exist in themselves.
No, very much so. I think that's great to get that feedback, you know, that's kind of what I would hope, you know, is translated in the work. You know, it's, I suppose when you're working in, like for me as an artist or as a writer or musician, or, you know, when you're working in that kind of creative way, you're trying to give a sense of something maybe about yourself, but also you're trying to communicate something as well. You know, it's kind of, why do we kind of do this? You know, it's, and that's one of the reasons, I suppose. You know, it's to try and make something or present something that, you know, like that can bring people somewhere else. You know, and that they can have this emotional attachment to it, or this memory attachment to it as well. I think that's, you know, for me, that's an important part of why I make art, you know, why I paint. You know, it's like connection with other people. I don't necessarily do it for myself, you know. I mean, even though that's why I started doing it. Like, but if you enter into this kind of journey then, and it becomes more about, you know, this means of, you know, I suppose communicating to other people, or of it becomes less. It has become less about, how would I say, less about me as something in a way, and, you know, more about this kind of interaction, you know, that I can have with true painting. You know?
I also like the comment you made about it being more like an album.
Yeah.
The exhibition. I like that because, you know, I'm one of those people, I love listening to an album in its whole. I mean, sometimes you get distracted with things like Spotify where you just start picking your favorite songs and things, but there's something lovely about the flow to an album, and then different songs resonate with you depending on your mood.
Pretty much.
And I think that's what the beauty of something like this show is, where, you know, maybe you kind of come in and you're in a good mood, and some of those big, bright, bold colours, you're just drawn to, you're like, oh, fantastic, Whereas then maybe if you're kind of a little bit more concentrated of the more, not monochrome, but the kind of more single colour painting might call to you a little bit more, and it's kind of a nice mood to kind of bring to it.
And like, when you say that now, it brings you back to like being a teenager and listening to that, and people don't do as much anymore, you know, and that kind of discovering, like, you know, Ego or David Bowie, and, you know, all these albums that they've made, and that's what I'm trying to do in a visual way, you know. And I suppose, you know, each piece then, or each exhibition, like, you know, it becomes almost like an album then. For me, my relationship to it is in that sense of body of work that contains these individual paintings, but, you know, as a whole, it's bigger than the sum of its parts, I suppose, in a way, you know. So it's great.
I suppose I'd like, if you wouldn't mind, and then I'll check if there's any questions from people, and I'll try to start taking over the conversation. But I think maybe it might be in the questions, but I think a lot of people would be interested in the process of the layering. I mean, oil on canvas, yeah, people are fine. But a lot of us have sand and plaster and these other elements in it. So I suppose if you wouldn't mind just giving a bit more information about why and how you choose and use those materials in your work.
I can't give any secrets. So I suppose I've always wanted to add things, to try and incorporate other elements to paint itself, to be kind of experimental, I suppose, in some way. And I would use different materials in the past, whereas I've kind of settled, I suppose, on plaster and sand at the moment. And I suppose for me, especially with both of them, like when it goes on, when I combine both with the paint that's quite diluted and kind of bleed or kind of run over the canvas, it'll go into the grooves and the cracks of the plaster, and it'll stay in the sand as well. So it just adds something else. It adds another, almost like painting tool to the creation of a painting that you couldn't get otherwise. So it becomes like it's like art making. So it's another way of art making on the surface. And I suppose, like I said earlier, for me it's kind of, it's symbolic. It's trying to make something from the ground. This kind of sense of, and I think that's kind of important that it comes from the earth that we're standing on or something, and that's kind of part of the work itself. And I think in the past I would use quite kind of architectural shapes, and I suppose that was that connection with this kind of person-made, man-made, woman-made, kind of structures that are made from concrete or like plaster, and to kind of incorporate those elements that might be kind of reflective of the kind of structures I was using in the past. And I suppose I can continue it into the work now. So and a lot of it, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the work is painted flat on the ground. So that kind of, it allows the painting when it's very diluted to kind of to prune and kind of stay in certain areas. So it's not going to show off. But I can control that as well. I can lift certain areas, or I can put things of paint on the one side so that it really puts in kind of one area of the canvas. So I suppose it's just another way of art making, I would say. And I think I want to work to, I suppose, operate on two. I wanted to operate from a distance that you can see it as an image, and it has a structure, a composition, and it has a form, or it's kind of like about something, but also up close then, that it's interesting to kind of look at kind of how it's been made, and that kind of almost like exposure of the kind of process of painting is kind of revealed in the surface as well. So it kind of has both, and
I think, I'm repeating myself, but I highly encourage people, if they can, to come, because it's to get up close and see those. It's just such a truth that it doesn't translate in life. That you get to see those textures. I'm just going to collect some questions. Perfect. I think I've talked to you about this one as well, so I kind of half know the answer. But how do you know when an artwork is done?
I know I always ask that question, and it's very hard to answer it. It's quite instinctive, and I think it's a moment in time that you have these kind of, I suppose, criteria that you place on a work that says it's finished, and that changes from series to series. So like and it's quite it's kind of distinctive. I can't give you a rational explanation as to how I kind of would know that. I suppose in a way, you kind of feel like there's nothing else that you'd like to change in it. That as you look, usually I go through that process of putting away and taking out, over months and months. And if I've done that a few times and I'm happy each time with the way it looks, then I'm happy to say that it's finished. I suppose sometimes when you do that and you have a look at something for a while and you take it out, I think that in this case I'm going to change certain areas, like this maybe was blue when I changed it to orange. You can see, and that becomes kind of, you can say, well, why did I do that? And it just seemed to make more sense, when I make changes, I can kind of feel, I get a sense of, well, if I change that, I think it's going to be, hopefully a better painting. But it's kind of instinct. And sometimes you make changes and you say, oh God, I shouldn't have done that. And that's just kind of natural, and it's just part of, luckily with paint you can change back to the way it was, so you get into too bad. So like that, it it is quite a distinctive, I suppose, I would say.
And then kind of something that you have touched on, but someone has asked again how you use sand in your work and how and what you mix it with. So is it put on as it is, or do you mix it in with the paints? Or?
I think it over wet paint. So when the paint is wet, I should pour it on it, and then it might take a while to dry, and I'll brush it off then. As the paint dries, it'll dry out.
Yeah.
So that's generally. And when I started using it first, I didn't know, I hadn't used it before, but I felt really drawn to using it. So I got to try using sand that'll never work, or how will I make it stick, or but it was like that kind of, like I think you prompted, or kind of like this kind of voice in your whispering at you, kind of say, try the sand, see what happens, and keep trial and error. Then I kind of got to know how to use it, and say, so that's what generally it goes over wet paint.
And then another one, again, lovely question. Is reworking your work reseeing it for you? I'm not sure. I think, well, it probably kind of touches on it, I think. I think when I rework them, it's almost like if you have two transparencies, and you have one image and you change it with another image over it. For me, reworking is kind of like that. I kind of leave elements of the old painting, and I kind of combine it with kind of a new structure or new shapes, or and that then creates something new and different that I wouldn't have, that you couldn't really plan out, I suppose, in a way. It's that kind of reworking really is one of the driving forces of our work. It's the way that the work keeps changing, I suppose, and it's quite kind of instinctive. Like when I started using these kind of shapes within my work, I would have reworked kind of older paintings that I felt weren't, really going anywhere or weren't really that good, and I just, threw in these kind of leaf shapes, these flower shapes over what was originally there, and then that created, like new kind of shapes then within the work that I could either leave or I could make stronger, or so it's reworking is quite kind of instinctive, but it's like, for me it's a great thing, I think. It's become a great process in my work, that kind of, and it's about not being afraid. I think one of the things that I would have experienced, and maybe a lot of artists experience, is that fear of, if you change something, you're going to make it worse, and so you end up not changing it, and your work stays at the same point the whole time, because you're afraid that you kind of, take that step to change something, that you're going to lose everything that you have. And that can happen, but also you can find something new. And I think it's that pushing beyond that fear, changing and editing and reworking brings you beyond that point, and it brings you into that place of discovery, which is, for me, is such an important part of working as an artist. It's about trying to discover something new and try to create something new and try to paint something new that I wouldn't have thought about before. And reworking or going back to work, or is that kind of is the fuel of that process, I suppose. Yeah. I suppose I presume this question is kind of coming out from the fact, like, I know of an artist that we had talking here before, they finished their works and then they thought, actually, no, I'm not finished, and then they do go back and they see them in a new light. Whereas for you, it seems that because you kind of work on them over extended periods of time and put them away and take them back out, that the reworking just seems part of that process of then kind of becoming what they end up becoming.
Exactly, it's that kind of sense of discovery that you get from reworking. And that kind of leap, I suppose, into the unknown, that sense as well. That's exciting, when you do that, we overcome that fear that you kind of have initially, that you become used to it then, and it's like that kind of propels you forward then, in your work, and you end up in a place that you thought, like, even with a piece like this, or a piece there, like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd be painting like this, and it's that kind of trusting you, that kind of intuition, and going beyond that, that fear, if you could call it that, you know, to bring to someone new and to create something new. And I kind of feel with these pieces, you know, like I said earlier, it's like this kind of like a doorway open, or there's another way to go, you know, and you get the sense of another pattern, you know, to try and use these sort of shapes that I'm using in my work, you know, where it's such nature kind of regrowth, and you know, that's really going to become stronger in the work as I go forward.
I suppose one other question that I have is in relation to, because I'm terrible at this when I'm helping people, they ask and I'm like, I can't, I just don't have the like the ability, not creative, is things like naming.
Yeah.
You know, some artists will kind of go with the, you know, untitled, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And if I was a practicing artist, I think that's the line I read of as well. And I think, I wonder, I suppose, if things like Further Shores, as the title of the exhibition, kind of does put you in that travel mode, distance mode, and so when you go and look at these pieces, you are transporting, you are traveling, you're going in, there's a journey which is lovely. But then the individual titles of the pieces, do you want to comment on them? The question really, what is in relation to your work and working on it?
I thought we were working through titles, and sometimes it could be just the sound of the word, like they're not literally titles, I would say. So sometimes I would search for titles, and sometimes titles would kind of come to me, you know, like Further Shores, I kind of, you know, it's like this idea, as you said, I think the last exhibition called Shores of Light, and I sort of had this idea of that kind of, you know, sometimes you kind of think you could be painting or working creatively, like you're on a boat and you're kind of searching for something. It ties into that symbolically with that kind of idea. So it's like you kind of see something in the distance and you're kind of heading towards it, but you don't know what's there. But you know, that's where you're going. Like so, and I suppose with the titles, like some come to me as I'm working on them, and some of them then I might think I might search for words, you know. And sometimes like it could be just that there's some other called location and direction, you know, which ties into that idea of travel and movement and this journey, and so then I suppose some just kind of, you know, are it's kind of instinctive as well. Sometimes it's just, you know, I might look at a painting and say, well, the title of this one should start with A, you know, and that could be, you know, it's almost like the painting is kind of telling you what its title is, you know, but it's not fully formed. And some of them are made of words that I use, you know, like, you know, combine letters together that I feel, you know, that's what it should be called, you know. So it's, there's a process to it, but it's hopefully a creative process as well.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? We have another question. Excellent. Do you have it? Very technical question.
Okay.
What makeup oils do you use?
I use I think I'm not fussy about materials at all, you know. So I use Michael Harding, I use Winsor & Newton artist quality ones, I use, you know, student quality ones as well. You know, I'm not kind of got caught up in, you know, some artists would only use a certain type of oil paint, whereas I have to use a wide variety of them, you know. But and I think because I use quite a lot of, or I add, like, you know, the plastic stamps and work, you know, it's not as important, I think, with the work we make. Obviously, artist quality, like Michael Harding, the quality of the paints is so much better, you know. Old Holland as well I use. So the colours, like this colour is such an important point. You kind of need to use those, you know, that really good oil brand, you know, there's no comparison between getting a kind of cheaper one and getting the really good one. So that's usually, you know, that has definitely helped, or it contributes to the colour of the work that they make.
Yeah, which you can see is quite strong and light. So I think it's necessary to you need to make sure that they.
And some ones can layer them, you know, like if you red like this, put it on initially, you know, there could be 3 or 4 layers of the same colour on a certain section, that, and each one, you know, intensifies and makes it stronger, makes it brighter. You know, it's about, especially at the end, that kind of happens where, you know, I'm kind of going for the thing, almost like scan it and kind of say, you know, it's almost like trying to imagine where light, I want light to kind of hit it, you know, it's like this, trying to create this kind of 3-dimensional object, and you're kind of imagining that light is kind of landing on it or falling on it. So we usually at the top, in some of the work, is where it's more brighter, So that's where I would kind of intensify that thing that we've gone over that a few times, the orange, the yellow. So it's trying to make these kind of points, you know, kind of brighter, and then other areas then maybe it doesn't have to come darker or even making it darker then as well. You know, so it's a lot of the work I kind of do. It's like this idea of light falling and something as well, you know, and kind of illuminates as it goes along.
Do we have any other questions? We'll leave it there.
Great,
I
really,
want to
thanks.
say thank you so much. I'm sure everybody else enjoyed it because I did. One of the good things that worked on it. Thank you, everybody. As I said, the exhibition continues here until Saturday the 22nd. We're open Tuesday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. So please call in. If you are unable to call in, you know, tragically, we do have the exhibition still running online, and we will make this recording available online as well. So thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks, Tom.